This is Hannah Williams from Salary Transparent Street. We're in Portland, Oregon. Let's go ask some people what they do and how much they make.
I'm a chiropractor.
I'm a cardiovascular perfusionist.
How long have you been doing it?
2 years.
Almost 9.
How much do you make?
120,000.
I make 190.
Do you have any advice for others who might be interested in your career field?
Off the top of my head, be aware of the student debt.
I have a lot of advice. It's a really great option. I work in heart surgery. I run the heart-lung bypass machine for open heart surgery, and it's just an awesome kind of hidden field for people looking for a mid-level position in medicine.
I am the executive assistant to Hannah Williams.
How much do you make?
Currently, I'm on a part-time basis. I do $35 an hour at 20 hours per week.
What do you want to do next?
Go full-time as her assistant.
What were you doing before that?
Before this, I was in the mortgage industry for the last almost 15 years, working as a loan processor and a loan officer assistant.
Awesome. How much were you making doing that?
Not enough. Usually, it was around $45,000 to $50,000 base plus commissions.
Cool. How'd you get into this?
It was actually something that I always wanted to do. It's just a lot of the details of the job are things that I like to do in my personal life, planning travel, itineraries, company events, things like that. And so it's just being able to make money while doing things I enjoy is perfect.
What did you study in school?
Communications, but I was an opera major for most of the time. Opera and musical theater.
Do you think communications helped with where you are now?
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, responding to emails and inquiries and things like that, communicating with our partners. Yeah, it's definitely helpful to have those skills.
I'm a mechanic.
How much do you make?
About $100,000 a year.
How'd you get into it?
I just always liked working on cars, and so right out of high school, started doing it. Yeah, I went to a trade school, got my degree.
How long have you been doing it total?
Probably 15 years.
Do you have any advice for others who want to be mechanics?
Please come do it. We need people. Yeah, we need people to get trained and be mechanics, and it does pay well, even though it's blue collar.
I'm a product manager for a customer record management system.
I'm a business consultant for contracts.
How much do you make?
I make $165,000.
Nice.
Show off. I make 75.
Do you feel fairly compensated for what you do?
I do, yeah. I feel like I'm fairly compensated, but I work for a great organization.
No.
How long have you been doing it?
I've been doing it for 12 years.
26.
What do you want to do next in your career?
I think I'm done. I think I am good with where I'm at. I'm a manager, and I'm like, I don't want more responsibility. It's
Quiet
not
quitting.
worth it. I'm like, I'm just going to stay right here, and it'll be fine.
And I'm going to probably retire.
I'm a pharmacy technician.
How'd you get into it?
It was kind of on a whim. I just wanted to make something that was more than minimum wage.
Do you like what you do?
Yeah, I like it because I'm good at it, but it is definitely challenging.
What do you think has been a challenging part of your career so far?
Well, since the pandemic started, pharmacies have turned more like into a pharmacy plus a vaccination clinic. So our workload doubled in the last 2 years especially.
Do you feel like you're fairly compensated?
I mean, the company I work for definitely is up there, so in that way, yes, yeah.
I'm an architect.
I own a massage studio.
How much do you make?
I make about $98,000 a year.
Nice. That's great.
After taxes or before?
That's a great question.
I gross about 40, but I profit about 10.
How'd you get into your career?
I just kind of fell into it with falling in love with design.
Honestly, I went to massage school on a whim, and it ended up being the thing that I've done literally more than half my life now, 25 years.
How do you feel about pay transparency in the workplace?
Oh yeah, I'm all for it.
Absolutely, very, very important.
Yeah.
I'm looking at hiring people, so it's super important to me to be really careful about paying fairly and equitably and being really clear about the way that I pay people.
What is something that you've struggled with in your career that you might share advice for maybe young graduates or people interested in your career field?
I would definitely say advocate for yourself. I think that's a good one.
I would say if you're going to be self-employed, take business classes. Super important. In my field, doing service work for people, we learn how to do the service, learn how to take care of people, but we don't know how to run businesses often.
I work in data analytics in the marketing department at a university.
How much do you make?
$73,000.
Do you feel fairly paid?
Yeah, for what I do, yes.
Can you describe what you do in one sentence?
I turn data into a story.
How'd you get into it?
So your TikTok actually really helped me. I was able to learn even just about talking about salary and salary negotiation and just learning those basic skills of learning to get paid what you're worth. And so watching your TikToks and just talking about your experience as a data analyst actually inspired me to follow those same footsteps. And I'm super happy and thankful that you were able to help me. It was able to open a door for me. Being in law enforcement prior, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know where I could go. I actually don't even have a degree. But anyway, I just want to say thank you. you. You changed my life.
What were you making in law enforcement?
$40,000 a year. Money was a huge thing, but also quality of life and work-life balance.
So it's better now?
Great.
What do you want to do next?
I am going to improve my skills and just see what happens.
I'm a UX designer.
How much do you make?
I make $87K.
How'd you get into this?
I studied marketing and design, and I'm just kind of continue doing that now.
How many total years of experience do you have?
About 3 years.
Do you have any advice for others interested in UX design?
I mean, I always support women doing tech jobs, but I think it's just, feel confident and go into it. There's a lot of courses online that are both free and it's totally possible.
Did you negotiate your salary?
I did negotiate my salary a couple of times, and I do fully support transparency.
How did the negotiation go?
It took a minute, but it went well.
Do you have any advice for like a long drawn out negotiation, how to keep your hopes up?
I'd say know your worth. I mean, definitely know what the base pay is for your position and just kind of come in with the knowledge and keep pushing.
I am a self-employed attorney. I practice in the field of employment law. I mostly represent plaintiffs.
How much do you make?
Last year, I made about $100,000.
How long have you been doing it?
A few minutes. This is my 26th year as an attorney.
How'd you get into it?
I beat a traffic ticket when I was 16. Caught the cop in a lie, made the judge throw a pen down in anger and frustration at the police officer, and that's when I knew, I could probably do this for a living.
Do you like what you do?
Most of the time, yes.
What is your number one piece of advice for others who might want to get involved in law?
Write. Learn how to write. If you are in your undergrad, take every English class, take every class where you are going to be graded on writing papers as you can. If you are in law school, take every class where you are graded in doing actual legal writing and intern somewhere that is going to help you do your writing.
I'm a biologist.
How long have you been doing it?
About 12 years.
How much do you make?
Cumulatively, I teach biology part-time and I'm a private environmental consultant biologist, so cumulatively about $80,000 a year.
Do you have any advice for others who might be interested in this?
Advocate for yourself, especially if you're a marginalized group, like a woman, person of color, disabled, etc., because no one's going to help you out unless you help yourself.
How has your experience been in this field? It's STEM, right? Science?
It's interesting. The lack of respect, especially for young women in STEM, is pretty high. I'm a professor, and I ask my students to call me professor, and they continue to call me by my first name. I get a lot of students talking back, questioning me, same with my peers that are male, etc. So it's been a little bit tough, but I always try to boost my students up and try to empower, especially my female students.
I am a content producer.
How much do you make?
I make $80,000 a year.
Could you explain what you do in one sentence?
Yeah, I work for a marketing company.
How long have you been doing it?
About a year.
Did you negotiate your salary by chance?
I did, yeah.
How did that go?
It went good. I was able to bump it up a little bit,
We love
which
that.
for a corporate environment was pretty good.
What's next for you?
Just gonna keep trying to move up and see where that takes me. So
I do nature education, conservancy work, that kind of stuff.
How much do you make?
Currently $19.25.
How long have you been doing it?
First year actually,
First
so
year.
9 months now.
9 months. Are you fresh out of school?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just
cool.
graduated.
Is that what you studied for in school?
Yeah, actually, kind of.
How'd you get your job?
Well, I moved out here and looked for environmental jobs, and that came up.
Do you like what you do?
I love it.
What has been an impactful moment for you so far in your career?
Helping a youth crew kind of figure out their way in life and be better people in general.
I am a salesman for a social emotional learning crew.
How much do you make?
I make $90,000 a year.
How'd you get into it?
An old leadership teacher of mine got me into this business,
In school?
Yes, in high school.
How long have you been doing it total?
This will be my second year in a few days, actually.
Do you like it so far?
I do. I love it. I definitely do love helping people.
Yeah.
So this is something that we can help the kids, and so it'll help our future out. And that's kind of what our main focus is, creating a better world through education, and that's what we're going for.
Did you negotiate your salary by chance?
I did not. And our employer definitely allows that you can negotiate your salary, but he also sees like hard work in his employees and everything. So I feel like it is, I don't know, I guess
It's going to pay back.
it's going to pay. Yeah, definitely.
I'm a web designer.
I'm a graphic designer.
How much do you make?
I make $60,000 a year.
I make 44.
How long have you been doing it?
I've been doing web design for about a year and a half, roughly.
Freelance for about 6 years and at a company for now for 2 years.
How'd you get into it?
I was doing freelancing for 4 years, and it's just like a turn of events in terms of career. I just moved into Portland a couple weeks ago, so I just needed some stability. And thank you. So I'm currently just working until I can get back into freelancing.
I wanted to go into a different field, but I had some good teachers in high school that kind of put me in a good direction, and once I got into design, I really loved it.
What is the number one tip you would give for other people who are maybe artistic or work in design, similar fields? What would you tell them?
Ooh, definitely network. Get to know people around you and make connections wherever you can.
Yeah.
Because you never know, at least in the future, whenever you need it, sometimes people will definitely think of you first. Sometimes going into new city, like before I moved officially to Portland, I looked for events. I looked for companies that were hiring, going in and asking questions and like getting to know people as well.
Similar lines with networking, but I think a lot of people are scared to network, but especially people who are going into design, have designers they really like on social media and stuff. Feel free to send them a message. You know, a lot of people are really friendly, and if they know someone's coming into the field, they'll give you good tips and let you know kind of what their circles are.
So I do analytics and insights for a consumer packaged goods company.
What about you?
And I'm a brand director.
How much do you make?
$130,000 a year.
191.
How long have you been doing it?
So I've been working for my current company for 9 years now.
I've been there for 10.
Do you feel fairly compensated for what you do?
I do, yes.
Yeah, same.
How'd you get into it? Any hard or soft skills that other people should learn to get into it similarly?
So I went to graduate school, and I think with that you learn a lot about business management, analytics, and I think those things are important. You also learn leadership skills and teamwork, and a lot of those are those transferable skills you need to be able to work in kind of that business environment.
Yeah, I had a slightly different path. So I started my career in sales, and then just kind of curiosity and relationships led me to exploring the brand side of things, and that's how I've landed where I am.
Do you think you should talk about money with your friends?
I think for when we've traveled together and hung out together, we just split everything, and I personally think that's fair. I've never tried to adjust friend expenses based on salary.
Yeah, same.
I'm actually an employer, a staffing service. I provide healthcare professionals at different doctors' offices all over Portland Metro.
Have you experienced a labor shortage in that area?
100%. My clients, which is around 100 or so different like chiropractors' offices, they're all experiencing a market shortage, particularly in like massage therapists, chiropractic assistants. There's a huge deficit in that regard.
Why? What's happening?
So COVID-19 is probably the largest one. It created a shortage in the schools, so the massage schools aren't turning up the numbers. I think they shut down during COVID-19, so that created like a gap in the labor market. But also a lot of massage therapists are leaving the profession. Healthcare, people got burnt out really bad. Being face-to-face with people, close proximity with a deadly virus like COVID-19. It's disconcerting for a lot but people.
How much do you make?
I roughly make $120,000 a year or so.
Okay.
Yeah.
How'd you get into this?
I'm a massage therapist personally, but I'm also a foreign aid worker. So
How has it been having your own business?
it's stressful. But also, I also enjoy the freedom that it brings as well too. I don't know that I could go back to being an employee. It'd be difficult. So yeah.